Well, we're going to focus a little bit now on the Maharashtra situation. Joining us, Dr. Shashank Joshi, the member of the COVID task force, and Dr. Hemant Deshmukh. Dr. Joshi, let me come to you first. Do you believe that the increase in numbers in, say, Amravati or Yavatmal is directly linked to the new mutant strains which are being reported, or it's because people aren't following the rules?
So let me put it in a perspective. The first thing is that why did this mutant strain come out? There was a central team which visited Maharashtra a couple of weeks back, and they told to upscale the genomic surveillance, including medical colleges. And at the BJ Medical College, a microbiology team which have a genome sequencer from patients from Amravati found that from 4 patients, there was a strain, which is the E384 strain, from 1 patient of 440N from the Yavatmal and 1 strain from Satara. And then they have handed over these samples to the NIV and the National Institute for Cell Sciences for further elaboration. So that actually made us get a needle that there's a probability of a mutant strain. Now, why did scientists and public health experts start thinking of a mutant strain? Because suddenly we found that Vidarbha is a less exposed area to COVID, including Amravati and Akola region. And suddenly in Amravati, we found a test positivity rate of 53%. Now that's a very large number. So that actually brought the spotlight on Amravati. And obviously, there was a very rapid upscale of numbers. Obviously, the denominator was small. Right. So from a scientific standpoint, that made the suspicion that there's a potential possibility and probability of a mutant strain. And it is undergoing a due process, as Dr. Paul has said. It will take its own time. Yeah. Second thing which is important is in public health, people in smaller areas and rural India forgot that there is something called COVID, and they started normal life without masking. And that is completely unacceptable.
No, COVID across the country, doctor, it's now gotten to a stage when, people have just stopped listening, and governments, quite frankly, across India have at some stage not been following up. It's a problem in India. Let's face it. We all see it all around us.
Absolutely. But you need to understand that in these smaller areas, if there is no total disregard to COVID inappropriate behavior, we need to ensure that we need to educate them, and we need to do also what has happened. One more thing, Vishnu, you need to understand is the community testing had dropped down. People who got a little flu-like illness, there was a cold season, there were Gram Panchayat elections 1 month back. People, even for a small cough and cold, did not do a COVID test in the community. Only hospitalized patients were getting COVID testing done. So the testing had dramatically dropped down, the masking had dramatically dropped down, and probably there is a possibility of a mutant strain. All these factors combined, we saw a surge coming up in Amravati and Akola region. And you can see that various metros of Maharashtra, whether it is Mumbai, Nagpur, Pune, are now also seeing almost doubling of cases. There the reasons are more public health related. For example, in Mumbai, we know that the local trains, the traffic in local trains from 20 lakhs has gone up to almost 35 lakhs. So that's one possibility.
Right.
And again, lack of COVID inappropriate behavior is there. It's unlikely to be a mutant strain there. It is again reasserting our standard protocols for COVID, which need to be maintained, and we need to go back to containment again.
Got it. I want to go across to Dr. Deshmukh. If you look at the little that we know of these mutant strains right now, it's there's the part of the virus which governs transmission, which is different, the protein cell, right? The protein part of the virus, right? And it somehow evades the impact of vaccines. Is that what we have learned so far, Dr. Deshmukh, on what we have seen in Maharashtra so far?
Vishnu, good evening. You are talking about a strain which has been mutated, and we are here talking about a strain which after mutation the subject gets vaccinated, but we are not able to isolate the virus after the vaccination has been taken place. And so there is no question of, isolating the virus after the mutation. What we are doing is we are isolating samples from say 5% of the patients. And these there has been a flurry of activity in the labs across India for doing a genome sequencing of the novel coronavirus activity. And we are going to check these samples, whether they are positive for the mutated virus or no, the mutations that are taking place. And so these vaccinations which are happening, either the Covishield or the Covaxin, the safety is of paramount importance, and these are acting against the mutation of the viruses also which have been found in India.
Dr. Joshi, as I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong, it's the spike cell component of the virus that actually governs transmission. Is there evidence to suggest that what we have seen in the mutations in Maharashtra so far actually make that transmission process more difficult, easier?
So I'll just make a small clarification. There are 240 plus Indian strains which have been seen over the last 1 year. Of them, there is one particular strain which may increase the suspicion for increased transmissibility, as Dr. Paul was suggesting, which is the E384 strain, which is probably similar to the UK strain. It's probably an inborn strain, but as I said, on 4 cases, to attribute it and cause a cause-effect relationship is premature.
Correct.
At the same time, the rapidity at which the transmission occurred in Amravati raises a very high needle of suspicion. And based on that, it is possible that this strain can have something called as immune escape. That means the ability to mount a neutralizing antibody is less. Now, that should not spread panic or fear.
No, not at all.
The official bodies confirm it. But yes, one mutant may be a problem mutant. Rest of it appear to be the standard de novo mutants. And every virus, whether it's a flu virus, coronavirus, influenza virus, keeps mutating. This is actually a slow mutating virus.
Right.
So I think the mutant word should not scare us.
Right.
Second, two things, Vishnu, I want to very quickly tell. The COVID due to a mutant strain and a regular COVID is the same. And neither is it more lethal. It is only more transmissible.
And that's been the case around the world. No, a point taken, and that's so important. Dr. Deshmukh, from a scientific standpoint and a statistical standpoint, when would we be in a position in Maharashtra or elsewhere to say that there is a direct link between this one very problematic or potentially problematic mutant strain and greater transmissibility? Statistically, would you look for 1,000 samples, 2,000 samples? Who measures, who does the sequencing? How long does it take to sequence? When will we get an answer saying yes or no?
Vishnu, there has been a great flurry of activity among the laboratories in the entire country for genome sequencing, but the rapidity with which the genome sequences happens is quite slow, and we will not be able to actually isolate at a much earlier stage which mutant is causing what type of clinical importance. But you should understand that when a mutant virus is causing COVID, the rapidity with which the complications happen is, almost 50% more rapidly happening, which simply means that within a period of 2 days or 48 hours, the pneumonia or the lower respiratory tract infection becomes so critical that these patients, if they are not moved into a critical care facility, they may actually lose their life for the simple reason that they have to rush to a nearest COVID center as early as possible. And it is, Vishnu, you know that sequencing cannot happen to all samples in the entire country,
not at all,
but max would be almost 5% of the cases can be sequenced at present. And I don't think we have the facility, Vishnu, to, do genome sequences of the entire sample which we get henceforth, either from central Maharashtra, Yavatmal or Amravati, or maybe from Bombay also.
All right. I'd like to thank you both very much for joining us. I think what the Chief Minister of Maharashtra said today was the most basic and the most important thing. If people don't follow social distancing, if they don't mask up once again, then this is a situation that's going to get potentially very, very dangerous. The last thing Maharashtra needs is lockdown across larger parts of the state. Indeed, that's the last thing that any one of us all across India need. I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us. I'm out of time. Goodbye.